Hello, it's great to be back and being able to come and talk to you again today. I hope you're okay, I hope your families and you are staying safe and staying well. I want to talk to you today. I didn't see this box. Look how big it is. I wonder what's inside here. Do you think I should open it? Okay. But what if it's something not very nice? Maybe I can't... Do you think I should? Should I open it? All right. It could be something really good, couldn't it? But it could be something really scary. What if there's a massive giant spider inside it and it gets out and it crawls all over me? I don't think I'm brave enough to open it. I'm not sure if I've got enough courage. Are you sure I think I should? Oh, I can't. I definitely haven't got enough courage today. Courage is what I want us to talk about today. How much courage have you got? How brave are you feeling at the moment? We're all back at school now, and maybe you had to feel a bit brave in going back to school. But sometimes we need courage. We need to feel brave to try something new. I want to tell you a story today about a man and a boy, and the boy had to be very brave. His name was David. And David was a shepherd, and he went out on the hills to look after the sheep. And do you know, while he was looking after the sheep, sometimes there were bears that came to get him and get the sheep, and he had to defend the sheep and keep them safe. And sometimes the wolves would come, and he'd have to be brave and fight the wolves off to keep his sheep safe. Do you know, it's a lovely day. Let's go outside and I'll tell you the story. The two armies were on opposite sides on hills, and every morning they would come out and watch each other. And the Israelites on one side would look over to where the Philistines were, and they would say, "We're strong, we're going to win." And the Philistines on the other side would say, "We're the best, we're the strongest, we're going to win." And every day, that's what they did. And one day, as the Israelites looked over at the Philistines, they saw something. And this something was not just a man. He was a giant. And the Philistines had a giant named Goliath as their secret weapon to win the war. And instead of saying, "We're going to win," the Israelites said, "I'm scared." And they didn't know what to do. Now, on that day, David, who I've just told you about, was asked to bring the packed lunch for his big brothers who were in the army. And so David had come with his lunch for his brothers, and when he got there, he had a look around. And he said to everybody there, "What are you doing? Why aren't you fighting the Philistines?" And they all looked over at Goliath and went, "We're scared." Now David remembered all the times when he'd been on the hills and he'd faced the bears and the wolves. And he also remembered that God is always with us. And so he went to the leader and he said to the king, he said, "Why are you so scared? I come with God on my side, and I know that God will help us." And so the king said to David, "Are you sure?" And David said, "Yes, I come in the name of God, and I know that we can win because God is on our side, and God will help us." And so the king put all of his armour onto David. But as it went on, David could hardly move. It was so heavy. So it all came off him again. And David just took his sling and 5 stones that he used when he was being a shepherd. And he went out and he stood ready to meet the Philistines. And he said, I come in the name of God. And the Philistines all looked at David, who was a small boy. They laughed. And Goliath, who was huge, laughed the most. Do you think you can beat me? And David quietly looked for his stones. And he knew that God was with him. And he remembered everything that he's already done and knew that that would help him. And he took one of his stones and he carefully put it into his sling and he spun it around. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. And the stone flew through the air all the way to Goliath. And it hit him right in the middle of the head. And Goliath fell to the ground. And then David was able to go and make sure that he had killed Goliath. And the Israelites had won, and the Philistines all ran away, scared. And David had beaten the Philistines and won the war.
So David had courage. He remembered what he'd done before, and he also trusted that God would be with him and would help him in what was going to happen next. I wonder when you need to have courage and be brave. Can you remember all of the brave things that you've done in the past, and that will help you to be brave this time? I hope you can have courage, because sometimes when we have courage, things are more amazing than we could ever imagine. The box, you ask? I'm feeling a bit braver now. I'm feeling like I've got some more courage after the story about David. I think I've got enough courage to open the box now. Shall I give it a go? Look what's inside! It's a bar of chocolate! Having courage and being brave often means that what we get is a surprise and far better than we thought it was. Oh, I'm so pleased I was brave and had courage today. I'm going to enjoy this. I hope you can have courage and be brave this week. I'm going to finish by praying, and if you'd like to say Amen at the end, then you can agree with me. Dear God, thank you that you are always with me and always there to help me. Please would you help me to have courage and be brave with new things. Amen. I hope you have a great week. I'll see you very soon.